Try to get everybody on here so we can get this chat started because we got some interesting topics for us to talk about. Well, I guess I could just get started. What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chill Stream, episode 7. I'm your host, DEHR2 Productions, and we're going to be talking about the anniversary of the first ever PowerMorphicon and the death of Chris Benoit. And some Transformers news that we need to talk about. So let's get to talking. All right, so let's talk about Transformers for a minute. And why do I feel like, to me, this franchise is in a good place? Because earlier I did a video on the first ever Power Morphicon. No. Beast Wars being a part of the Transformers franchise, aka the Transformers universe. So at Fossil Nation Instagram account, excuse me, I was just reading about the information and I couldn't have but to just write it down so that I can, be able to, you know, say it and do some commentary video on it. And believe me, I struggled, a couple of times. Took me about 6 takes to get it right. But let's just say the information that I've read about the Beast Wars appearing in the Transformers film, it got me excited. And I believe this film is going to end up being everybody's favorite movie throughout the years to come. And my concern about this movie is it's going to be heavily influenced by Michael Bay. And I don't want him near Transformers anymore because the guy has already ruined everything when it comes to the Ninja Turtles, the Transformers, you name it. He's already messed up everything. Like, I'm being brutally honest. So, but yeah, man, I think I am excited about this new Transformers film. I believe that it's going to end up doing good. As long as the plot does well, I'm all for it, and I just feel like, you know, this whole Transformers franchise is already in good hands. As long as, they don't screw this up. I mean, screw this up. Because I do believe in, you know, faith that this movie is going to end up taking off. And there are some good things about this information, like when Optimus Prime is in the G1 version. And not to mention, Bumblebee is going to be returning and in a Camaro. So the film is going to take place in 1994. So, like I said in the video, I'm assuming that it's going to end up, you know, being a 1994's Camaro, the yellow and black designs on it. I think it's going to happen. So, though I am happy that, we're getting some new information on the Transformers movie. We know who's directing it. We know who's going to be starring in it. But I basically want to know who's gonna, what this. I mean, we know that the movie is gonna be focused on the Autobots and the Decepticons. I just don't want to be focused too much on the human characters like the Michael Bay films did. I mean, they already like made it so boring to the point where it's not watchable anymore. So I am still excited about this movie and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And not to mention the Transformers War of a Cybertron and the Beast Wars characters are going to be appearing in a lot of episodes. That is what I'm looking forward to. Though I did my review of it last year, I thought it was, what I'm saying, I thought it sucked because they made Optimus Prime look weak and all the other Autobots, they were pretty much training on Optimus Prime, not giving him the benefit of the doubt. Even towards the end of the first season, I was like, "What is this?" I mean, I like the designs. The art looks really good, but the story and how he was written, I wasn't really a fan of it. I was turned off about it. So I gave it a bad review last year. So I don't regret what I'm saying, I don't regret doing it. And I just hope that, you know, season two is going to end up being better than season one because they really need to up their game if they want to make this show better. Because what they done to Optimus Prime, I wasn't feeling it. So let's talk about WWE for a minute. Sean Franklin, what's up? So let's talk about WWE for a minute. Um, I don't know if y'all noticed. Today is the anniversary of Chris Benoit's death. You know, for those of you who don't know, today was the day the WWE died. And the reason why I said that is because this is when they went PG after the 2007 incident with Chris Benoit when he killed himself and his wife and his kids. But I don't know if his oldest son or his other son is living. But let's just say that Chris Benoit had a huge impact in the WWE. But it's unfortunate that he took his own life. You know, I think it has a lot to do, you know, with the company not, you know, checking on their, you know, mental health of their talents. Because if you don't check up on them and see how they're doing, what's going on with them, one thing that could happen to them is they ended up killing themselves. Whatever it is that they're going through in their lifetime, I would say Vince McMahon should have checked up on his talent, his wrestlers, and I think that's what happened. You know, um, and 2 years ago when Eddie Guerrero died, you know, back in 2005, when Eddie died of a heart failure, it was due to steroids. You know, um, I think Chris Benoit was acting a bit strange when they did a tribute show to Eddie Guerrero on Raw, and he was pretty much crying his eyes out, just bawling. You know, a lot of people weren't even paying attention to why is he acting strange like that. Yeah, and I guess that's what changed, the WWE forever. That's when they went to PG around, I think, July 2008. Um, I think it's one of the worst things to ever happen in the company when they went PG in 2008. Um, even Yeah, yeah, they did blasted the company for what happened to Chris Benoit, and Vince McMahon had to answer a whole lot of questions. He had to answer to everybody, you know. Uh, but I think to me, they had it coming, you know. That's why, hold on, the WWE definitely wasn't the same ever since the devil. Yeah, it wasn't the same because you can tell there were a whole lot of changes that were made. Even in early 2008, it was still showing some ruthless aggression era at that point. But around summer of 2008, that's when everything just went downhill fast. And yeah, they do. Wrestlers are still taking steroids today. This is nothing new, pro gamer. They're still taking steroids, and whether they want to admit it or not, yeah, that's when everything just went worse. If the Benoit tragedy didn't happen, exactly, they could have still stayed in TV 14 route. They would have, said they could have just you know, changed some things in the WWE. Like they could have just still had some chair shots, still bleeding to the head, but don't go PG just because Chris Benoit died. Like you could have kept the TV 14, but changed some things, toned down the violence a little bit. Not all the way through for what's going on in the PG world today. I mean, world today. So you could have easily done that. And that way, this company would have been still watchable, still fun time to enjoy. But even in the early 90s, it was like a family friendly show, but they were still showing some TV 14 moment, you know, making a lot of adult jokes, even though for, a family friendly show. So that's your 1990s for you. And if you look at in mid 2008, during the summer of that year, they completely changed drastically when it came to the violence being toned down. I mean, you barely see any hardcore moments, you know, especially when it comes to ECW. They were no longer doing the extreme stuff like they used to. That's how you know things has gotten way worse. But if you actually think about it, I don't think 2008 wasn't that bad. I think when it came to, the family friendly segments that just drew people away from their TV sets. Uh, I believe that could be the cause of why PG just went downhill, why it went the way it went. I believe that could be the case. But what I do know is that they did have some fun moments, especially when you have wrestlers from the new generation, the Attitude Era, you know, from those eras, and define those PG moments in the PG era with stars like, Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho. Um, Even when CM Punk was a part of the Ruthless Aggression era, he defined the PG era and he didn't do no PG stuff like these current PGs, wrestlers you have now. They didn't do that while they were in the company still. They were still doing some TV 14 moments and still made PG wrestling watchable. Oh wow. So Retro hasn't given up, huh? Well, I'll be ready for him. If it comes at me, we're blocking him every step of the way. So getting back into the WWE, they did create some. They did create some moments in the PG era. like the rivalry between Undertaker and Edge, WrestleMania 24. That match alone is what made history. It was one of Undertaker's best matches of his career. I don't think they're gonna ban steroids. It's still going on. So if you got women, female wrestlers taking steroids and being suspended under the wellness policy. I guess sometimes try to go natural might not work. So yeah, man. I think Undertaker and Edge WrestleMania 24 had some amazing moments. Even his match between him and Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25 and 26. Those two matches are one of the best of Undertaker's career, and he definitely defined PG because he made it more watchable. He puts people in seats, while John Cena puts people out of seats because of his boring gimmick. You know, and I also heard that he's supposed to be coming back this year and turning heel. So I don't know if I believe that or not. Um, but yeah, now that you think about it, wrestling has gotten a little bit more better nowadays when it comes to SmackDown. There were a lot of good changes, that happened, even though this company is PG. There were a lot. I mean, there were some TV 14 moments when it comes to the PG, but the company is still bad regardless. There was rumors about Vince McMahon possibly selling the WWE because of the release of the many wrestlers that you have no development in the company with. You barely had time to work with your talent to develop their skill. And you know what? This man might as well just sell the company to Walt Disney. And I will bet you there would be no more WWE. Heck, you might as well just send all of them to All Elite Wrestling when they have a better career over there. It's obvious, you know. What's up, Ash the Man? How you doing? Um, yeah, I didn't like it either though. I mean, Raw still sucks. That's why I was like, I'm not even watching Raw anymore because it's not worth watching because it just sucks, plain and simple. And to me, SmackDown is more watchable because of Roman Reigns' heel character. That is one of the main reasons why I prefer SmackDown overall, despite some many greedy issues I have. Yeah, I mean, Raw has been terrible as of lately, though. I mean, no matter what they try to do, it's still going to be the same result. And until Vince McMahon retires, what I'm saying? The WWE sucks. It's obvious. And they're planning on, bringing a live crowd back, starting with SummerSlam and on SmackDown. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that it's going to make things better. AEW has been keeping up with the live crowds despite the pandemic. And you know what? I can admit AEW sucks sometimes, you know, but guess what? At least they're trying to get better with their wrestlers and everything. But in terms of WWE, Raw, and NXT, I can tell that they're trying to be better, but they need to try a little bit more harder. Like, bring back the blood. Go back to the TV 14 days when wrestling used to matter. If you can somehow do that, imagine the WWE going back to the glory days of the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. The money will be pouring in. Everybody will be sitting in their seats, tuning in every week. Some very interesting storylines. But right now, it's not happening because they're still doing the same storylines over and over and over again. And you got wrestlers, you know, wrestling the same person over and over again. I mean, I get it. It's been like that since the 90s, but today it's just overkill. Like it's literally getting to a point where a lot of people will stop watching wrestling altogether. So yeah, cancel culture will be triggered if that happened. Ugh, oh man, you know how they are. I mean, here's the thing. Kids don't even care about, about that cancel culture stuff. They, what I'm saying, they watch horror movies, they watch blood, they play Mortal Kombat, they play Grand Theft Auto. I mean, they watch Attitude Era videos, so of course they're not gonna care. So AEW has a better creative point of view, which gives more story to everyone on the main roster. WWE is losing the creative due to training. Yeah, they are. And the only way for this company to get better is if Vince McMahon retires. I was on Instagram yesterday and I've seen this one post, and he was saying that how he stopped watching WWE because of how bad it has gotten. It's not like what it used to be. I completely understood where he's coming from. Now, um, the Roman Reigns character on SmackDown is way watchable than Raw's show. Even though SmackDown and Raw are a part of the WWE programming, SmackDown is the better show. Here's the thing: SmackDown has always been an A+ show because of its storylines, of its crazy moments, legendary moments. But don't even get me started on that so-called SmackDown anniversary special. That was a joke. They made it look like 80s retro. SmackDown debuted in 1989. They couldn't even be creative, gone retro over that. I'm like, y'all some lazy bums, man. Y'all could have done that on Raw, but not on SmackDown. So, yeah, Roman Reigns' heel character is the best, hands down. I don't care what everybody says. You know, he's the reason why SmackDown is watchable. I love Roman Reigns' heel character. Babyface Roman Reigns, not so much because they tried to turn him to a John Cena 2.0 years ago, and they tried to make him funny like The Rock. Nope, that didn't work either. Even even if they try to get him to be cheered once again by having him being diagnosed with leukemia, and then a few weeks later, a few months later, he comes back. You know, he's back in remission, so he got a huge pop. Okay, but the thing is, I think that was Vince McMahon's way of trying to get him to be loved again. And a lot of people were accusing the WWE of making this his remission storyline a work. Even John Moxley didn't even want to do that crappy segment. And he exposed the WWE right off the bat. So I was like, you know what? I watched it. He brought out a lot of good points. That is true, though. It was a nice change for Roman, and now they're going to milk it, which let him have his savage moments when he can shine with. Yeah, man. You know what? Here's the thing: him and the Usos, they're pretty much make WWE SmackDown look like a ghetto episode of SmackDown. Like, you know how Samoans be acting like black people all the time. Like, you know how they be acting like, niggas all the time. You know, the way they be acting and stuff. Like, here's the thing. The WWE always had black wrestlers come on there acting like niggas all the time. How they were from. Like, you're from the ghetto, you act like that on TV. Imagine the Usos be like that. I mean, they're already doing that. But cousins fighting each other. I feel like they're making it more interesting. I do love the storylines, but it's really cool to see Roman Reigns and the Usos. They're creating bigger and better moments. So I got to get my hats off to that. People want to enjoy to be pushed. People are saying he's overpushed. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched Raw in a long time. Only time that they ever pushed Drew was his match with when he first won the 2020 Royal Rumble. That was literally the only time he won the Royal Rumble, and then he became champion against Brock Lesnar. Uh, so that was literally the only time he got big, but he got a huge push. But nowadays, man, I feel like they need to do some better work. You know, um, Hopefully somehow they get that. When the crowd comes back, wrestling can be watchable again. Until then, it's not going that way. Even that so-called Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was a joke. And I've seen some matches on it. It was terrible. The whole pay-per-view itself is just bad. Um, with the virtual crowd, it was not looking right. So, um, like I said, hopefully when they bring the loud crowd, everything will be good. So, um, let me check with the chat. Let me check something. Well, about Regional Gamer Star, I'm only gonna mention him one more time, and that's it. He needs to get off YouTube and he needs to stop. That's all I gotta say. All right, so our final topic for today. Did y'all know? 2007 was PowerMorphicon's first anniversary. I guess this was today. Today was their first anniversary because I remember I was like what 16 or 15 when PowerMorphicon started. I see fans wearing Power Ranger costumes for the first time, cosplaying them. I had no idea what cosplaying was up until I did my research on it. And that's where I realized, okay, it all makes sense. They're passionate about their favorite franchise. They're just cosplaying to entertain people. And they do get a whole lot of fans doing that. And they get like a tons of followers on social media. But this is back before Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, started back when MySpace was a thing at the time. Um, but I do remember watching on YouTube. I remember seeing the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger cast, Austin St. John, Walter Jones, and they all look like they gained weight. I'm like, dang. When I'm with Jason, his face look all fat, turned on. I'm like, wait a second, this is not the Jason I know from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like he used to be young and thin and fit, but that was me thinking like that in the past when I first seen it on YouTube. Um, I just realized that they're getting older, and that's what happens in life. When you get older, your body changes. You know, but yeah, that was my first time I ever discovered Power Morphicon on YouTube. And a lot of Power Ranger actors from Disney seasons, Saban seasons, coming to worship the fans, taking pictures with them, doing a panel. Uh, there was this one scandal uh, during the Operation Overdrive panel when they no Samuel Benta, who plays Will the Black Overdrive Ranger, he got caught up in this scandal when he was accused of you know stealing a bander. Some accused him of you know stolen money out of kids charity. Something was going on, with him and everything with this whole scandal. But I don't know if it's true or not, if he is being truthful or not. I mean, rather he did it or not, one thing is for sure, Samuel Benta will forever be known for what happened. But yeah, ever since then, PowerMorphicon has been this trend every single year when they come out in California, in LA, meeting the fans, signing autographs, taking pictures, asking questions about the upcoming show, movies, comics, toys, whatever projects that they're working on, you name it. They always come out and greet the fans. And that's the one thing I love about the Power Morphicon because it's been one of their best creations since 2007. And this is their anniversary since the first Power Morphicon started. And shout outs to MMPR Toys for making a video on this though, because I completely forgotten about that. So yeah, I think that's about it. I thank y'all for coming out, shining with me as always. I had a good time. If y'all enjoyed this stream, let me know in the comments down below. As always, I love y'all. Take care and God bless.